Have you ever wondered why some people exude confidence and truly love the skin they're in, while some people struggle with body image, what appears to be all their lives? I think it's fair to say that we don't know what we don't know. In today's episode, we're going to talk about body love, the signs of body dysmorphia, some shocking but not really shocking stats around how the internet has body shame on the rise. But I'm not sure if it's on the rise or if we're just starting to talk about it. And we're also going to talk about some ways to implement body love, even if you don't feel good in your skin right now. And then I'm going to pull a card from the Sacred Self-Care Oracle deck. And we will end our time together with a mantra and a journal prompt from the universe. Welcome to the Creative Life in Motion podcast, where we don't wait until we reach our goals to be happy. We fall in love with who we are being on the way. I'm your virtual BFF Karen, or soon to be. What is body love? I think everybody has a different opinion of what it means to them. Having body love, having body confidence, or a positive body image is simply how you feel about your body. I firmly believe that you could have love for your body, but still want to make health improvements. And I believe that healthy is not a size. And when I talk about weight loss on my channel or in my content, it's never really just about the physical body. Weight loss is something that is released if there is weight to be released, if the body feels safe to let it go, both physically and mentally. I did some research before I decided to push record on this one because I wanted to be sure that I came with some tangible facts that we could really sink our teeth in together so that we can just continue to keep this conversation open. I even have a little video clip that I'm going to share with you a little bit on into the episode, so maybe make sure that you stay tuned for that. But body dissatisfaction, defined by a subjective negative view of one's body weight and shape. Let me get my glasses here. So a quick Google search gives you all kinds of studies in all different countries on how they're really trying to measure how social media, or the media for that matter, is really into play, like playing on the emotions and the body images of our youth. So there was an international survey of 11 to 15-year-old adolescents in 24 regions in Europe, the United States, and Canada that were found to have a high prevalence of body dissatisfaction across all countries. There was a variation of sex and age and weight. 43% of girls and 27% of boys reported feeling dissatisfied with their body, and being older and overweight was positively correlated with body dissatisfaction. Another longitude study of Canadian adolescents in Quebec, 57.1% of adolescent girls desired a thinner body at age 14 years, with that prevalence increasing to 65.8% at age 18. And this is compared with 44% among adolescent boys at baseline, which remained unchanged 4 years later. So basically what this is saying is that as we get older, it starts to get more intense. And I think that happens as more and more experiences develop. There's bigger belief patterns that are really shaping how we feel and what we see when we look in the mirror. And obviously, it's not everyone. I'm just trying to make light of it. I mean, I have my own experiences with body image. There was not a time in my life where I didn't feel like my worth was connected to the billboard of the body that I live in. I've actually been working on those limited belief patterns myself for the past decade. And layer by layer, you find a connection point, a trigger point that goes way, way, way back that you can then start to reprogram and turn into a direction which is more neutral, where that means that, you accept the fact that you've felt bad about it. Don't make it worse by giving yourself crap for having that belief. When you talk to 5 and 6-year-olds, they're pretty confident in their skin. And as we get older and we collect more information about and experiences that are connected to how we feel about our bodies, or how other people feel about their bodies, or how people express themselves, whether it be positive or negative. I mean, how many of us have run up to somebody that we've seen that have lost weight, and we begin to praise them, ask them what they've done, and we don't even know if they meant to, but we just put that into a standard that, oh, you lost weight. Well, that's great. Where does that come from? I came across these videos by Allure on YouTube when I was doing research for this podcast. You can see right here. And it talks about how they sat down with girls ages 6 to 18 to find out what they felt about body image. I would just like to play a couple of clips from this.
This friend who's like super skinny and because she's always dancing. And I feel like I wish that, my mom says I'm skinny or something, but not all the time that makes you really think that you're actually skinny, because it's from your mom or your dad, and they just tell you the best things about you. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. And so I wear black leggings because I feel they make me look small or skinny.
People used to call me fat all the time, and it would really bring me down. Especially within my friend group at school, all the girls are so skinny, it's crazy. I don't think I'm large or anything like that, but I'm definitely not as skinny as all my friends. And I used to really, really struggle with that, especially in the beginning of the years of high school.
I just want to kind of fit in the best that I can.
Everybody wants to fit in. And I can totally relate with what that 10-year-old girl said, and it brought a tear to my eye the first time I watched it, is that I had the same belief when I was her age. I just assumed that mom and dad, that's their job. That's their job to continue to pour love and support into me. But all my friends, all the people at school say something completely different. So at that point, who am I supposed to believe? And how do we get to a spot where we can, just believe, and where we don't have to question because of our body, that our bodies are not the billboard of who we are,
When I was in middle school, they had Decade Day. I dressed as Madonna, and the kid in my grade came up to me and he goes, "Who are you supposed to be?" I'm like, I'm Madonna. And he goes, "Isn't Madonna supposed to be skinny?" What do you even say to that?
In 8th grade, I didn't necessarily struggle with an eating disorder, but I definitely went through periods of time where I would be fasting.
Honestly, I just don't really feel comfortable in my own skin sometimes. I just don't look in the mirror often and just call it a day. I just don't feel comfortable about my height, how my face structure is, sometimes the nose. I don't know. I just avoid looking in the mirror because if I do, then I'll just think of how I want to be. But if I don't, I just think, hey, this is how I am. Let's deal with it. I like about my body is that I have good muscles in my leg from doing all that flipping and cartwheel and handstands. I have strong arms and legs for gymnastics. My body's strong, I can almost do a split.
I'm just going to stop it right there, and I'll put the link below this episode if you want to go and see the full video. What really stood out for me was the fact that they had the younger group seems to be more easily connected with what they love about themselves. Like I'm talking about, age 5, 6, and 7. And as the years progress, there becomes more doubt, more things to point at. And obviously, we know that does not come from within our 5-year-old selves. It comes with what we're exposed to of what societal expectations favors. And it can be a real problem. For some, they're able to shrug it off for entire lifetimes. For others, it can become something that haunts the entire life. What do we do? I want to sit down with you with that. You can become obsessed with any part of your body. The most common areas are your face, your hair, your skin, your chest, and your stomach. Those are usually the points by which people are self-conscious. You might not even know that you're having experiences with negative self-talk there. After I lost weight, personally, we're going a couple decades ago, I was given so much praise, I became obsessed with the scale. I had no idea I was obsessed with the scale. Of course I didn't. But I'd get on it 4 to 5 times a day. And if I had a big meal, I'd soothe myself by trying on everything that I had in the closet. So if it all still fit me and the baggy clothes were still baggy and the small clothes still fit me right, I would be like, okay, it's going to be okay. But if anything felt tighter, I would panic. I wasn't getting any bigger per se, like gaining weight. There might have been a little bit of water retention if I had a really big pig out. That's just what your muscles do. When I was at my ideal weight, the perfect weight, the healthy weight for my body, I went to a dietitian and I was trying to understand why I couldn't lose weight anymore. I was addicted to watching that number go down week by week. And when it stopped going down, I stopped getting the validation that I was good. I stopped getting that self-validation that I'm doing things right. I stopped getting the dopamine hit of something exciting happening. I was falling in love with that scale going down and people continuously telling me how amazing I was for doing that work. Is a place that I had never been before. And when I sat with the dietitian, I sat there in disbelief as she told me that I was in the picture perfect of my health. So why can't I see it? Again, I felt as though I'm sitting there with my mom and dad. Yeah, you're just telling me that. Right? Why don't I see it? So the symptoms of body dysmorphia disorder include constantly checking yourself in the mirror. I have a list of them here. Avoiding mirrors. Trying to hide your body part under a hat, scarf, or makeup. Constantly exercise or grooming. Constantly comparing yourself with others. Always asking other people whether you look okay. Guilty. I'm still guilty of that. Not believing other people when they say you look fine. Guilty. Avoiding social activities. Not going out of the house, especially in the daytime. Seeing many healthcare providers about your appearance. I did that. Having unnecessary plastic surgeries. Picking at your skin with fingers or tweezers. Feeling anxious, depressed, and ashamed. Now, I know that for me, I definitely have more than one of those symptoms still. So is this something that everybody has? Do you experience any of those symptoms? If so, drop it down in the comments below. Yeah, I think the more we discuss this, I think it's just like the whole perimenopause discussion. It's getting louder and louder, and we're feeling more normal and more heard. And I think that, we're starting to make strides to help make this, body image and body positivity a more positive experience for all. But we still have a heck of a lot of work to do, I think, as a society, especially when it comes to, the internet and media and ourselves. Years and years ago, when I was in online health and fitness coaching, where it was an MLM model, they taught us to be proof that the product works. They taught us to consistently use our body as the billboard of the fact that the products work. So let's put in quotation, what does it mean when the products work? Well, they want you to get up there and show your body before and after, and that your life is much better in an after picture. And for some, that's true. But it's not about the body. It's about the whole picture of health. And so I fell into that, and I continued to do it, even though I felt as though this is wrong. I don't want to continue to put this type of content out onto the universe. And I'm not saying that anybody that does is bad, so don't come for me. I'm just saying that how it can be read is not always the way we intend that message to go out. So the message that goes out is one of support. The message that goes out is one of, if this is what you want, I can help you get there. But the message that also needs to be just as clear is that health has a lot of sizes. At my leanest and my fittest, I still fell into the classic BMI of obese, morbidly obese. So you tell me that I've lost a lot of weight and I look really good and I'm my ideal body weight, but then this graph tells me that I'm obese. What am I supposed to believe? So it's having these conversations. I think I want you to know that if you have any of these feelings whatsoever, you are not alone, right? You are not alone. We're going to talk about ways to love your body. Even if you don't love your body, there's ways that you can start showing your body that you like it, showing your body that you respect the fact that it's this beautiful envelope of this universal being that you are. And when we start to do the things that allow our engine to understand that we like it, that will open up the opportunity to fall in love with our body just as it is, just because of who we are being on our way to the path of whatever goal you might want to reach. You don't have to wait until fill in the blank. You are worthy of all that love right now. So ways to love your body. Listen to your body. I'm going to put my glasses on again. Change the messages you are giving yourself. Throw out the bathroom scale. Think of your body as an instrument instead of an ornament. That's exactly what I was saying about the fact that it's a carrying case for that beautiful being that you are inside. Exercise to feel good and be healthy, not to lose weight or to punish your body. Move with your head held high. So how can we actually put this into motion? The first thing to note is that you need to know how the body feels love. Like, how does it actually feel love? And that's brought on by dopamine. Dopamine stimulates the reward pathways of the brain and increases motivation and behaviors to pursue the love interest. Okay, so if you're doing something that you're loving, You're getting that dopamine hit. So how can I increase my dopamine levels quickly? How can I create this circle of love more quickly just by some of the things that I do? Exercise regularly, eat dopamine boosting foods. And I have a list of dopamine boosting foods here in just a second, so stay tuned for that. Reduce saturated fat consumption. We know this stuff. Pay attention to gut health. Researchers continue to learn more about the digestive system and its role in producing neurotransmitters, including dopamine. Get enough sleep. Try meditation. So let's talk about the foods, right? So here's some common foods that help release dopamine. Apples, avocados, beets, chocolate, coffee, dairy foods such as milk, cheese, and yogurt, dark chocolate, and eggs. You see, chocolate is on my list twice, both chocolate and dark chocolate. Now, I would totally recommend the dark chocolate because it's going to have less sugar. And the thing that I know for sure about happiness is keeping your blood sugar stabilized is also a key. So if you have a sugar spike, it is often followed by a cranky crash. I like to call them the cranky crash. Sugar spike is always followed by a cranky crash. So that tells you something. When you go for these specific foods here, with the exception of milk, cheese, and yogurt and eggs, those are all proteins. The others, I would highly recommend you pair it with some protein so that you don't have the insulin spike. For example, if you wanted to be super duper happy and you're not dairy intolerant, you could have a little mini meal of apples, avocado chopped up into cottage cheese. And you have a perfectly balanced little mini meal that, according to research, will help to increase your dopamine and not going to get the cranky crash. Now, if you want, you can have a cup of coffee with that, but don't have so much coffee or caffeine that you get the cranky crash later either. 1 cup, plenty per day. Have you ever heard of the term fake it till you make it? Of course you have. It really doesn't work, does it? Your subconscious mind stops you from believing it. And when that happens, it's just a battle. So just start by doing the things that we discussed that convince your body that you actually like it. Start there. Gratitude for carrying you around, putting in good fuel, talking nice to yourself. Internal chatter becomes so habitual. For the next week, start writing down every negative bit of internal chatter that you hear yourself saying so that you can reprogram it, of course, into a positive one, but also so that you're aware of how often that you do it. Will you do it? Will you try that? We have to stop this cycle. Accept yourself as you are. You know it's possible to love your body and want to improve some aspect of it at the same time. That's okay. No guilt around that. No shame. When you get a compliment, stop saying yeah, but, or only if when it comes to talking about your body. Just get those out of your vocabulary. As a Gen X, I could go home and disconnect myself from the ridicule of being different. I wanted to be like the girls I saw on TV. Typically, the music videos on Friday night videos. I wanted to be the girls I saw in magazines. But I was told they don't put people like me on TV. You're under tall, too short, too fat. I wish I would have known what I do now. That I could go for it anyway. That it really is the inside that counts. It wasn't just like this stock answer that moms and dads took an oath to say to their kids every single day. The biggest lesson I've learned, and I wish I was somehow taught with my internal voice. Me being me, I'm going to be with me forever. The people that disapprove of me because of the things I have not yet discovered how to change, they're not going to be there forever. I wish I was taught to be my own cheerleader. And maybe I was. So in that case, I wish I was coachable. To have that same 5-year-old girl belief throughout all the ugly. I guess I somehow did. So I'm still here healing my relationship with that little girl and forgiving myself for all the ways I let her down. Mental health is connected to physical health. Throughout our lives, we have wonderful people in them, people who want to help, who maybe don't understand your level of commitment. Loved ones that are concerned, strangers that are trying to encourage, but they trigger a negative feeling. Transformation is always a vulnerable place to be. Let's pull a card, okay? I think it's time to pull a card, isn't it? All right. I just got to clear my desk. We are on the path of self-love. I'm pulling from the deck of Sacred Self-Care Oracle cards. Our intention is to add something to our to-do list this week that has to do with self-care. I'm asking the universe to give us what we need right now. And this is for you as well. If you are here and you're still watching this on YouTube or still listening on the podcast, there is a reason you need this message, and trust in that process. So, just getting the deck ready to pull a card, pull any card, warming up my hands for the energy. Got it. Now, I need my glasses. Plan a vacation. This is the card this week. Plan a vacation. Ooh, this sounds like a fun one. It always gives you what you need. Now, I'm going to just read our mantra. Plan a vacation. I find adventures and inspiration everywhere. That's our mantra. Get ready for a magical journey filled with synchronicities. Taking the time to go on vacation can give you a new perspective, spark inspiration that will nourish your soul on the deepest level, and bring more joy to your daily life. We all have a bucket list of places we'd like to visit, and there's no time like the present to get started on working toward making our dreams a reality. But planning a vacation requires just that, planning. If there's a place you'd like to travel that seems out of reach, making a budget and timeline for your trip can help guide you in the right direction. Balancing work and vacation time is essential to well-being. If there are some roadblocks to planning a vacation, or if money is tight, don't immediately set your dream plans aside. Rather, take a look at what commitments in your life would need adjustment to make the necessary time, space, and resources available. If you need to wait a while, consider how you can actually satisfy your craving for adventure with a staycation, or by creating experiences that expose you to new cultures and ideas in your own community. Read a book in translation, see a movie produced in another country, or switch up your dinner routine and try that restaurant serving food that seems exotic to you. Okay, so here's our journal prompt. I'm going to say something in a minute about this of what came through for me as I was reading this. And I think it's really important that you stick around for that. But our journal prompt is this: what small and practical steps can you take to manifest the resources and time you would need to take a vacation? So that would be the journal prompt for the week, is like, what is it that you are going to do? I love that there was also guidance there on what to do if you don't have the resources of time or money to go on vacation. We can actually take a vacation every day. We can take a vacation once a week of just doing the normal things. I think what happens is we don't, when we say we don't have time for things like vacation, we just haven't had the time and space to say, what would a daily vacation look like for me? And so that can be something as simple as what they said, going out to a new place for dinner. It can be decorating your house. It can be taking a whole day off, jumping in the vehicle and going for some sort of staycation, exploring all the touristy places around your neighborhood that the tourists come and see, and maybe you haven't gone to visit for quite some time. We do become complacent. This is probably a great time to talk about going for a walk every day and taking a vacation in your mind every day, going to a different spot when you're on that walk. When it comes to body love, walking is one of the best tools to jumpstart your success. I have an episode explaining the sudden rise of walking, where I explain what to watch out for so you can feel lighter mentally and physically in no time. And I've queued that up for you here, and I'll also link it below. It might be the perfect solution for a daily getaway. And then also, I still want you to journal on a bigger getaway, okay? Will you do that? And then come back and tell me what you started to plan. That's about it for now. If this episode resonated with you, please let me know and share it with someone that you love. Until next time, bye.